Good morning. You're all welcome to today's lesson. We're discussing social studies for JHS1, and we are still on the use of land in our community. In our last discussion, we looked at the uses of land and some terms associated with the use of land. We define terms like settlement, layout, disaster, and others. Today we are looking at layout and decent settlement. We're looking at the role that layout plays in a decent settlement. It's me, your facilitator, Ephraim K. Akapo. You're welcome. Layout will be defined as the arrangement of a site for settlement and other activities. That is what we mention as layout, or that's what we defined to be layout. And a good layout is very important in any given settlement or locality. Yes, a good layout is very, very important in any given settlement or locality. And so it is very important that we know the benefits of layout and how the layout is done, or how layout is made. And so in this lesson, we'll be looking at why we need a proper layout. So by the end of the lesson, I'm expecting that my student will be able to explain why a proper layout is needed, and also identify the processes or the stages involved in making a good layout or a good settlement. Reasons for a good layout. Hello. Reasons for a good layout. A good layout enhances free movement. When a place is well laid out, there is free movement of goods and services, human and goods. In places where the layout is well planned and the roads are very good, there is less human traffic, there is less vehicular traffic. Then layout adds beauty to the settlement. When a settlement is well laid out, various types of buildings are positioned at different places such that it gives beauty to the settlement. Unlike in a place where people build haphazardly, there is no style and there is no beauty. A good layout also improves ventilation, especially for residential settlement. It is very important that it is well ventilated. And to ensure better ventilation, it is good to have a good layout. A good layout also improves sanitation. When there's a good layout and drains are well planned, buildings are well situated, it ensures proper sanitation. Then a good layout also checks and controls disasters. So when there is good ventilation, when there's proper drainage, the likelihood of disasters like fire outbreaks, floods, and so on is very low. So you see why we need a good layout? Yes. A good layout also reduces congestion and overcrowding. We defined slum in our previous lesson, and we said an overcrowded settlement that is usually characterized by filth. Slums usually don't have any layout. People put up their buildings anywhere and anyhow. And so there is crowding and congestion. And when there is an outbreak of disease, it is a hell. And so for all these good reasons and others, it is very important that a settlement is well laid out before it is implemented. Now, This brings us to how layouts are made. If it doesn't go through these stages, then it might not be a proper layout. The first stage in making a layout is zoning. That is, dividing the land, surveying it, and then positioning, selecting appropriate positions for different purposes within the planned community. And so it is during zoning that a place is allocated for schools, a place for market, a place for hospital, a place for community center, a place for children's center, a place for residential settlement, and a place for industrial settlement or industrial area. Then after all these allocations have been made on paper, then a site plan is prepared where the draftsmen, the surveyors and architects go on the land, survey the place, and prepare a visual plan of the settlement. That is a site plan. After this, the next stage is the preparation of the structural drawing. Here the experts come in to actually put on paper how exactly the settlement will look like. So you see usually a 3D image of the whole community, locating all prominent and significant structures just as it is supposed to be on the land. And so preparation of structural drawing is also a very important part of making a layout. After all these has been done, it still doesn't suffice. The next most important thing is the implementation of the structural drawing. That is where the issue is. This is where the experts, the architects, the engineers, and the contractors have to go on the ground, monitor and observe that just as it has been planned and drawn, it is implemented, so that one thing is not drawn on a paper and another thing implemented. So if on the paper or if on the plan a place has been allocated for market, on the ground and in the implementation, the people in charge are supposed to ensure that that place is used for a market and not for a school. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose of the layout. Then, monitoring. Monitoring is where the appropriate institutions go around to ensure that all that has been planned is being implemented as planned, as in measurements are being taken exactly as it's supposed to be. Not that the place is supposed to be 100 centimeters on paper and then on the ground it is 120 centimeters. So it is very important to monitor and evaluate the process. And that is why you see task force like the district assembly task forces going around to ensure that people are obtaining building permits before they put up their structures. Okay, so this is how layouts are made. So if any of these stages is taken out of the process, then the layout might not be complete. In some cases, it might be complete on paper, but on the ground and in implementation, it will not be so, which is wrong. And in most cases in our country, that is how it is. And so as my students are being taught this, I am hopeful that they wouldn't just learn it for examination purpose, but will also apply it even in life to ensure that they do the right thing as planned by state institutions and people in authority to ensure a better place for all of us. This brings us to the end of our lesson on layouts and decent settlement, under the main topic, the use of land in our communities. To test your knowledge on how much you have been able to understand, answer the following questions. Until we meet again next time, I wish you good luck, stay safe, and keep learning. Bye bye.